heads on. We're going to do our event handler just like we normally do in every other event. This is an event. We're going to treat it as one. It's not one of these three, we're not going to do anything. That's what it's saying. Then we're going to continue. We're going to do living entity. I can't type. I'm going to do living entity. We're going to call it entity equals living entity, and then e.get entity. Just like that. We're going to do entity.get equipment. So we're getting the equipment of the thing. And we're going to set their helmet. Their helmet's their head. And we're going to do a new item stack. So we're getting our pumpkin. And inside it's going to be material dot pumpkin. Just like that. That's all we have to do to set up mob heads on these three types. Zombies, skeletons, and villagers. And we're going to put a pumpkin on their head. You can put any block on their head. But as we're making some type of Halloween thing, we're putting a pumpkin on their head. Then all we have to do from now is go ahead and register this event inside of our main class. And we're just going to do that by our normal way. We're just going to set it to mob heads. PM, register events, mob heads, plug in this. Then we can go ahead and change our Then we're going to load up our server and make sure to re-download and drop in the new jar you just created for your Minecraft server. So we're going to drop it in here, and we're going to reload our server or restart our server. Just like that. Ignore that error. So now that we've reloaded and restarted, we are going to go into creative mode, and I'm going to spawn a villager. And we are going to see if the villager has a pumpkin head. Which it does. It has a weird nose, but it does have a pumpkin head on. So that's what we wanted. We also told it to spawn with skeletons and zombies. So why don't we try doing that? Why don't we get a skeleton and why don't we get a zombie? If I put this in full screen, you'll be able to see it. So we got our villagers with pumpkin heads. We got our skeletons with pumpkin heads. And we got our zombies with pumpkin heads, which is very cool. So it's done exactly what we told it to do in the configure file. Oh, the zombies are chasing all the villagers. Poor villagers. Turn into zombie villagers. So anytime they spawn in the wild, not just out of eggs, they will spawn with these heads on. So that means we have successfully created, whenever a zombie or somebody spawns, they will be turned in, and my other account was slain by a zombie. So you can see that villager was killed by a zombie. It turned into a zombie villager with a pumpkin head. So it gets it whenever it turns into one of those, and it's very easy to set up. Now, what about horses? How can we turn a horse into a skeleton horse? Why don't we do that? Why don't we create a new class, and we're going to call it horse change or something. That's what we're going to name it. It's going to implement listener just like our other classes. And we are going to do another event handler. This time, public void on horse spawn or something along that lines. It's going to be another entity spawn event because we're going to get when a horse spawns. So we're going to do another list. This time we're going to do entity type once again. So just what we did just like before, and it's going to equal another array list. Arrays, dot as list, and we're going to do entity type dot horse. Make sure to import the list once again. Make sure to also bracket this correctly. Why isn't that working? What did I do wrong? Arrays dot as list, blah 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 blah. What are you saying? Standby list entity type types equals arrays as list entity type horse. Oh, don't put that there. Put that thing there. And then this is where we do it. And if it does not, if types dot contains e dot get entity type, so if it does not contain that, we are going to return. And this is when we put the out bracket, and we're going to put return, just like we did before. Then we're going to get our living entity once again, just like we did before with putting all those two together. Living entity, which is going to be our entity, equals living entity e.get entity. So we're pretty much copying what we did before. And then we're going to do we're going to do entity. Hold on. We're going to do it this way, because this is how I did it in my test thing. org.bucket.entity.horse. I know there's an easier way to do this, leave it alone. And that's going to be entity dot set variant dot skeleton horse. So you have undead horse and skeleton horse. We're going to do skeleton horse. So pretty much what this is saying is if it's an entity of a horse, make sure it's bucket's horse. It's going to be spawning a skeleton horse. Now, most likely, if I do this, it's going to work fine. Stamp. That's why I did it differently. You have to define if it's a horse or if it's not a horse. So once you have done this correctly, unless I'm an idiot and do it incorrectly, we are going to head to add it to our events inside your class. We're going to name it horse change, and we're going to build our artifacts once again, rebuild them, drag them into our folder. We're going to keep the version number the same this time because it's technically the same changes. We're going to drag it into our plugins folder and reload our server. We are then going to go ahead and grab a horse spawn egg, and we're going to spawn a horse and see what happens. It should, if this worked, turn into a skeleton horse. There we go. We have successfully turned all the horses into skeleton horses. Yay! Skeleton horse, skeleton horse, skeleton horse. So we have successfully created our plugin. We have our villagers with zombie heads. We have our skeletons with zombie heads. We got our zombie with, pumpkin heads. What am I saying? And we got our skeleton horses. So we've successfully created a haunted Halloween plugin. And it's pretty cool. So remember, make sure to go ahead and commit your changes and push it to GitHub. We're going to say added Halloween. I spelled that wrong. Shoot, hold on. Added creepy things, because I can't spell Halloween right now. And we're going to commit and push these changes to our GitHub database, which is available in the top link in the description below. And we have successfully created our plugin. If you have questions with this code or anything, please let me know by leaving a comment on this video, and I would be happy to help you. You can also join our Discord server, and we can help you out there if you wish. This plugin with the Halloween things is available on Spigot under Halloween Utilities. It's free to download. It used to be paid. It adds a lot more things like lightning strikes and bat swarms, and you get to scare people. All your pumpkins turn into jack-o'-lanterns. I only covered 2 things this plugin offers in this tutorial, so make sure to go check out this plugin down in the description below. It's pretty cool for Halloween, and I can't wait for you to try it. And of course, if you have questions for any other future tutorials on the channel, make sure to leave a comment, and I would be happy to do those tutorials. I will see you in episode number something. I don't remember where we are, but I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.